Nigeria Info.
On the news this evening, Acting Inspector General of Police Alkali Baba Usman expected in Rivers State tomorrow. Senate President Ahmad Lawan calls for strict adherence to federal character in appointments. Nigeria receives loot of former Delta State Governor James Ibori from United Kingdom. And on the foreign scene, Germany pledges humanitarian aid for civilians in Gaza. I am Carl Orakwuel with the news. The Acting Inspector General of Police Alkali Baba Usman is expected to be in Rivers State tomorrow on a one-day working visit. IGP Usman, during his visit to the state, will flag off a program tagged Operation Restore Peace in the area. Correspondent Suibi Ruari reports that the program will hold at the Shak Stadium, Moscow Road, Port Harcourt. Meanwhile, the IGP Usman Alkali Baba flagged off a new special operational action plan codenamed Operation RP for the stabilization of security order in the southeast geopolitical zone of the country. The British government says the world spotlight will be on Nigeria in the 2023 general elections. The British High Commissioner to Nigeria, Catriona Lang, said this after a closed-door meeting with Governor Nyesom Wike at the Government House in Port Harcourt. As she said, efforts must be made to improve the country's democracy.
Just for Nigeria's democratic journey, but for Africa and the world spotlight will be on Nigeria in 2023. It needs to be a better election, not perfect, but better, to consolidate and improve Nigeria's democracy. And I think the governor very much agreed with me on that.
She also said her discussion with the governor also focused on the security challenges facing the state and the measures taken by the governor to address them. And Nigeria has received the £4.2 million seized from the associates of convicted former Delta State Governor James Ibori from the United Kingdom. Minister of Justice and the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, made it known today via a statement. Malami was said to have signed a memorandum of understanding for the repatriation of the Ibori loot on behalf of the federal government. As Senate President Ahmad Lawan has called for strict adherence to federal character in appointments as enshrined in the 1999 Constitution as amended. Senator Lawan made the call during the Senate confirmation of Dr. Salamatu Suleiman and 11 others as chairman and members of the National Human Rights Commission.
And I want to reiterate here that the executive should take very serious note of the observations raised in the area of ensuring that there is compliance with constitutional provisions for appointments like this.
Also during plenary, the Senate President read out President Muhammadu Buhari's letter for approval for a new external loan of 2.3 trillion naira.
For the implementation of the new external borrowing of $6.18 billion in the 2021 Appropriation Act. The purpose of this letter is to request for a resolution of the National Assembly to raise the sum of 2,343 billion naira provided as new external borrowing in the 2021 Appropriation Act to part finance the budget deficit of 5.602 trillion naira.
Meanwhile, the Senate has called on the federal government to review its policy compelling students to obtain the National Identification Number (NIN) if they are to write the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Examination (JAM). The Senate resolution was reached today after a debate on a motion by Senator Ifeanyi Uba.
The long queue at NIMC centers are testimonies to the fact that a well-organized process is yet to be put in place. Available statistics indicate that in 2020, more than 2 million candidates registered for JAMB examinations. The introduction of NIN threatens to significantly lower the number of registered candidates in 2021 because majority of these candidates are just attaining the age when they can obtain the NIN. This is a brazen infringement on the right to education of young Nigerians who may not be able to meet the deadline to obtain their NIN and register for JAM.
Staying with this, a JAM applicant has narrated how she was asked to pay 12,000 naira to facilitate her national identity number validation before the 2 weeks extension deadline.
I should go for validation, which I went for validation in NIN office yesterday. They told me I should come back in 2 weeks' time, which in 2 weeks' time, the JAMB registration will be ending. So I was not like, is there no other way for me to get the validation of NIN? So the person there told me that I should give him 12,000 naira for him to do it for me. Then for them to confirm if my NIN is included, like if my NIN is in process already at Njari, that place are building new bridge.
In the meantime, a JAMB registration operator, Andrew Ogaluzo, says the 2 weeks extension for JAMB registration is not enough for students.
Getting that profile code, most candidates don't actually know the SIM card. They use the number they use in registering their NIN. So as a result of that, when we try creating profile code for them here online, end up creating it, you see that profile code will not be sent. These 2 weeks, we are seeing it as a long period for this extension, but to the students it's not actually long. People have been complaining of spending more, because when they deduct 15 naira times how many times you will send, you will see that maybe at the end of the day the profile code will not still come.
Still on this, there is no JAMB registration center in Buguma, Abonima and Degema local government areas of Rivers State. A JAMB registration agent, Bliss Iyala, made this known in an interview with our correspondent.
I am coordinating for about 170 candidates. So far, we've not done up to 100. We have about 80. It means that about 90 candidates are still awaiting the process of name and JAMB profile code. I can beat my chest for that, but there is no center. We moved from Buguma to Port Harcourt to do this process. Right now, we're in Rupoko. Yes, there are even times network is even choking. You come here, you didn't arrive on time, and the network is not working. You waste the whole day. You have to go back and come back the next day.
Iyala went on to call for more time and JAMB registration centers.
We are just accept our fate. The reason being that JAMB2 over the past years, because of the experience of 419 and all that, are also taking measures to ensure that this time nobody is duped because of JAMB registration. And these candidates must be assigned to a particular number through which to be registered. And these facilities are not in Buguma. We hope that in no distant time, JAMB will be able to give us a center around that axis to accommodate the Buguma, Degema, Abonima axis.
I do recall that JAMB extended the date for the 2021 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, UTME, by 2 weeks. Still ahead, NAFDAC approves use of another COVID-19 vaccine. Do stay tuned.
Our freedom depends on our proactive responsibilities.
Let's talk, act, and be about development.
With one voice, our potential is realized. This is your #1 news, talk, and sports radio station. 92.3 Nigeria Info. I am listening.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
Welcome back. Over 200 complaints are received by the International Federation of Women Lawyers FIDA River State branch monthly. FIDA acting chairperson in the state, Nnenna Igbokwe, made this known in an interview as the River State chapter of the body turns 34.
The FIDA office on a daily basis is inundated with complaints ranging from sexual violence, domestic violence, inheritance rights, failure to provide necessary, and a lot more. That we receive up to 15 to 20 cases on a monthly basis for sexual offenses. I would say that on the average, we receive 200 cases monthly, and also know that sometimes we receive complaints via phone calls. In some months, we might have more than 200. I would truly give kudos to FIDA River State members because we are able to amicably resolve up to 160 cases.
The FIDA acting chairperson in the state said the ongoing strike by the Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria, JUSUN, continues to delay the justice process.
Matters which necessarily ought to go to court are stalled. Most of these matters require urgent attention, but nothing can be done because the JUSUN strike is still on. Orders for maintenance cannot go on, prosecution cannot go on. Abusers are there out there on the street. Even when police arrest, take to the police station and detain them, they cannot keep them for too long because they cannot charge immediately. And what do? When they keep them for some time, they'll be forced to grant them bail, thereby releasing them back into the society.
The Rivers State College of Health Science and Management Technology is set to have set up a panel to handle the rape allegations by a female Year 1 student against the head of Department of Dental Surgery in the institution. Though the provost of the college is yet to speak on it, our correspondent gathered that the panel is headed by the Dean of Student Affairs of the institution. The student has also been contacted by the panel. A National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has approved the use of the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine in Nigeria. The agency's Director General, Professor Muji Adeyeye, made this known in a statement issued today, signed by the agency spokesperson, Dr. Abubakar Jimoh. In business, a car dealer in Port Harcourt, Emeka Christopher, is asking the federal government to implement the tariff reduction on vehicles. Do recall that the Nigerian Customs Service in February announced the reduction after President Muhammadu Buhari signed the Finance Bill 2020 into law, stipulating a downward review of excise duty on tractors and motor vehicles for transportation. Christopher told our correspondent that only used cars are being sold due to high foreign exchange, and a reduced tariff will give them huge sales.
The car business now is going from the used one to another person using it. I mean, the thing is going in circle because of the economic situation. We will be very glad and happy if federal government can actually effect a reduction in tariff, because the car that you used to buy for 200,000, for instance, and now when you go to buy it, you buy it at the rate of 500,000 or 600,000. You find out that the customer base you have already, they can no longer meet up. And when they don't meet up, you don't make sense. And when you don't make sense, there's no way you survive.
In entertainment, popular Nollywood actress Iyabo Ojo says she will not back down until justice is served after Nollywood actor Baba Ijesha was granted bail. Baba Ijesha has been in police custody for more than 2 weeks over an allegation of child molestation. The Nollywood actress, who has been at the front line of the case, demanded justice for the minor, who is a foster daughter of comedian Princess. In sports, Manchester United midfielder Bruno Fernandes has been named the Sir Matt Busby Player of the Year for the second successive season. Fernandes first won the award, which was presented to him by Adidas last year, despite joining the club in January 2020 from Sporting Lisbon. The Portuguese won the prize again in the 2020-21 season after receiving the most votes from fans, beating Luke Shaw and Edison Cavani.
And now we'll bring you news from around the world.
Germany has pledged 40 million euros in humanitarian aid for civilians in Gaza. The UN says more than 52,000 Palestinians have been displaced by the current violence. German Foreign Minister Heiko Maas said he will lobby for a better humanitarian supply in Gaza at a meeting of EU member states today. He also condemned rocket attacks in Israel from Hamas and stressed that Israel had the right to defend itself. And that just about does it here on the news this evening. But before we go, here's a quick look at the major stories. Earlier on, we told you the Acting Inspector General of Police, Alkali Baba Usman, is expected in Rivers State tomorrow. We also told you the Senate President, Ahmed Lawan, has called for strict adherence to federal character principle. You heard Nigeria has received a loot of former Delta State Governor James Ibori from the United Kingdom. And from the foreign scene, we brought you a story that Germany has pledged 40 million euros in humanitarian aid for civilians in Gaza. The news was edited by Choma Ezenwafo. For eyewitness reports and breaking news stories, do contact our newsroom on 0818 900 0017. Cloudy weather expected in Port Harcourt this evening.